let's jump into it. We're already 5 minutes. It was like a Vegas nightclub out there, Mars. I had you guys just sitting in outside, chilling, 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 chilling. I do love me some Broadway. I do love me some Broadway. What's the best musical you guys ever seen? We got any musical folks in here? You guys go to New York, you go to Broadway, you go to Vegas. What do you guys like? Phantom of the Op, like I've seen all those. Rent's good. Wicked, I haven't seen Wicked. The Newsies, I haven't seen The Producers. Sound of Music, classic. Fell in love with the Sound of Music in like the 5th grade. I was in detention. And the freaking teacher put on Sound of Music. I was like, not only am I detention, you're gonna put on some musical, trying to kill me. And I found myself liking it. You know what else they played in detention? I was in detention a lot in the 5th grade. They played Oh Yeller. So what the hell is this? Then I fell in love with the movie. I said, this damn dog, my best friend. Oh Yeller. You guys seen Oh Yeller? I don't know, man. There's some great musicals out there. Guys and Dolls, it's Fiddler on the Roof. If done well, Fiddler on the Roof is incredible. So how's everything been going for you guys? It's been going good. Have you been talking to people? Yeah, talk to us in the chat. So we've been going through some stuff. I wanna try to move through some things today. What are you guys learning so far? Put it in the chat. Talk to us. We only got like 3 more minutes to just kind of fill out the morning. By the way, I got this sweatshirt from John and Tenny representing. See that? Boom. This is their foundation. Go get them. Go get them. I got Priscilla Nelson's book back there too. Amber Leah's book, Rachel Richards' book. Got a lot of authors in the house. You guys are learning to just be a human being, to get the word out, don't overthink, all the things. Kim Figueroa's in the house. Love it. I have my Zoom so I can only see people that's on video, because that's how I roll. You guys give me life. Make your boy feel important. Why do you guys think I'm doing this? Put it in the chat. Why do you think I'm doing? Tony Veroni. Holy cow. Hi, Tony V. Damn. Saw Meryl pop in yesterday. Tony V is in. This is awesome. Why am I doing this series? Why do you think I'm doing this? Why would I wake up at 4? I'm already up at 4 a.m., but why would I wake up at 4 and do the things and then get on with you guys? And why would I do it? Would I do this to continuously watch you guys not reach the goals that you set for yourself? Why would I do this? Why would I do this? Good question. That's a good question. That's a good question. We're your people. That's right. We ain't going nowhere. And people keep messing with us. That's how it's going to be. I do want to see you succeed, Shannon. I already know Shannon's going to succeed. I told Shannon some stuff yesterday, didn't I? Yes, I did. And I think it's going to happen. This is going to be a really weird recording for somebody who's watching this later on. They're going to be like, the first 10 minutes, what? You guys didn't even talk about anything. Let's go through a little bit of a review. But before I get into the review, I want to read you one of my favorite poems. if you've never been part of a Madness series before, you probably never heard this. But if you have been part of a Madness series, then you're probably familiar with Valerie Cox. Anyone familiar with Valerie Cox, the cookie thief? The cookie thief? The cookie thief? The cookie thief? Okay, really fast, and then I want to jump into it. You guys cool with that? I'm gonna try to finish up at 7 o'clock today. Amanda got mad at me yesterday for being a little bit late and taking Ezra. And I said, they held me hostage. They wouldn't let me go, sweetie. They just kept me on, wanted to hear my voice. A woman was waiting at the airport one night. A woman was waiting at the airport one night. With several long hours before her flight, she hunted for a book in the airport shops, bought a bag of cookies, and found a place to drop. She was engrossed in her book, but happened to see that the man sitting beside her, as bold as he could be, grabbed a cookie or two from the bag in between, which she tried to ignore to avoid a scene. Any of you guys ever do that? Try to just ignore it a little bit. I don't want to make a scene. I want to say something though, but I don't want to be that guy. That was me last week at Ezra's soccer game. This league is absolutely garbage. And they didn't have the referees. And I was like the only black dad out there. And I was like, I don't want to be that black dad. You know, like the dude to just, so I just chill. I used everything that you guys have taught me. I just chilled out. So she munched the cookies and watched the clock as the gusty cookie thief diminished her stock. She was getting more irritated as the minutes ticked by, thinking, if I wasn't so nice, I'd blacken his eye. With each cookie she took, he took one too. When only one was left, she wondered what he would do. With a smile on his face and a nervous laugh, he took the last cookie and broke it in half. He offered her half as he ate the other. She snatched it from him and thought, oh, brother, this guy has some nerve and he's also rude. Man, he didn't even show any gratitude. She had never known when she had been so galled. She sighed in relief when her flight was called. She gathered her belongings and headed to the gate, refusing to look back at that thieving ingrate. She boarded the plane and sank in her seat. Then she sought her book, which she would almost complete. As she reached in her bag, she gasped with surprise. There was her bag of cookies in front of her eyes. If mine are here, she moaned in despair, the others were his, and he tried to share. Too late to apologize, she realized with grief that she was the rude one, the ingrate, the thief, the cookie thief, the cookie thief. When you guys hear that, what do you get from that? What do you get from that? What do you get from that? See, Devon's coming on late. We're about to let him into the room. He missed the whole freaking first 11 minutes. What do you get from that? The stories we tell ourselves. You guys ever tell yourself some stories that you thought were true and then later on realize they weren't true? You guys ever tell yourself some stories that you knew were true and then later on realize they were not true? Have you ever done that? What are some stories you told yourself that you knew absolutely they couldn't tell you nothing was true? And then you realize, probably years later, man, that wasn't true. What have you told yourself? What are the stories that you have told yourself? What are some stories that are absolutely true that you knew were true? You told yourself that have kept you really limited, really small, not reaching peak potential at all. Oh, that rhyme. Kept you limited, really small, not reaching your peak potential at all. Ooh, somebody give me a beat, man. I'm telling you. Freaking Jay-Z over here. Money is the root of all evil. I don't deserve to be happy. What are some stories you told yourself? Some stories I've told myself. Um, when I was younger, Black people can't be successful. My wife is using me. Ooh, I told myself that story over and over. I knew that that one was true. You could not convince me that that one was the truth. My wife is using me. Nobody wants to do this plan. It's too expensive. People are going to feel like I'm bugging them. I had a story. Here was a story. I want to slap myself in the face for this one. I'll never forget this one. I was a brand new coach, and I went and I shared Optavia with a dentist friend of mine. And she was excited. She asked me out to lunch to tell her more. She had just had a baby. And after the meeting, she says, okay, I'm in. I want to do it. And she handed me her credit card. And when she handed me her credit card, I got nervous. I got scared. And I said, you know what? Let me just call you at the end of the day, and then you could just give it to me over the phone. And I called her at the end of the day, and she says, what did she say, wives? What did she say? You wives on here. What did she say? What did she say? What did she say? My husband said, what did the husband say? My husband said, no. I should just do it on my own. Devastated. I was like, damn, dude, should have took that dang credit card. I didn't take the credit card because the story that I told myself in that moment is I'm a Black man. She's going to think I'm going to take this credit card and go spend it on all of these things. Crazy story. But it was true for me. Isn't that wild? Isn't it wild, your ability as a human being to just make up stories? And they're going to be true if they're true for you. And they're going to continue to be true, even though they're not true. How many of you guys, when you're younger, kids, believed in Santa Claus? Put a 1 in the chat. Like that dude was real. You couldn't wait. Fat dude was going to fall down the chimney. You knew it. Ooh, you knew it. You was writing letters, leaving out cookies and milk, all the things. Weren't you? Didn't you do it? How many of your kids probably believe the same? And then over and then over, and their kids are going to believe the same, and then their kid, and it's going to be 2,156, and these freaking kids are still going to believe what? Santa Claus is what? And you can't tell them anything different, because the stories that they've created for themselves is that this fictitious character is real. And then right around what, 11 years old, they're going to go to school, and some knucklehead classmate's going to say, bro, you still think Santa's real? You still believe in that stuff? And they're going to be like, oh my, they're going to be like, yeah, of course. And then they're going to be like, Santa's not real. And they're going to go ask little Sally, and Sally's going to say, bro, Santa's not real. And then they're going to go ask little Kimmy, and Kimmy's going to say, you still believe in Santa Claus? Santa Claus ain't real. And then the dissonance that's going to go on in here, it's like, no, but Santa's real, but Santa's not real. What the hell? And then all of a sudden, they're going to realize what they knew was true was what? Mentirosa. Freaking liars. So, how many stories do you continuously tell yourself as an adult? That's not true. Maybe the story is, oh my gosh, it's so hard to reach global director. Oh my gosh, everyone thinks that this is too expensive. Oh my gosh, nobody's going to want to hear from me. Oh my gosh, people are going to think I'm calling them fat. Oh my gosh, reaching the top of this company is like, that might be good for like Linda Andrians, but I can't do that. You mean little old me? You don't understand my background. My parents, my mom, my dad. Maybe the story is, I just don't have enough time. There's not enough time in the day. I know we all got 24 hours, but it just seems like I only got 12 or 13. I don't know. I know all my kids are out of the house, but I just can't find time. It's just like, oh, I feel like I'm suffocating. There's just so much. Maybe the story is, you know what? I'm a faith-based person. I'm supposed to be broke. I'm supposed to be poor. I'm supposed to be walking around just living in lack. that was my story, by the way. Growing up, that was Jamil's story. That if I had a lot of money, here's my story. True story. Holy cow, true story. If I had a lot of money, that meant I was a bad person. Cookie thief, and you could not tell me any different. That was my story. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to be little Kimmy. I'm trying to be little Johnny in the 5th grade. I'm trying to be little Sammy. And I'm trying to tell you there's no freaking Santa Claus. Unless you want to believe that there's a Santa Claus. And you can keep believing that there's a Santa Claus until you're 30 and 40 and 50 and 60. You can die and still think that Santa Claus is real. That's your prerogative. For real, it is. And if you believe that it's true, it's going to be what? True for you, not true in the world, but true in your little world. So why am I on here? Because I want to freaking shake it up for you and let you see that there's no freaking cookie thief unless you believe that there's one. And I'm trying to convince you for real that you can do whatever the hell you want to do. And you don't have to be stuck in some little box that you created for yourself. But you can be stuck there if you want to. Just like you can create a false negative picture, you can create a positive good picture. How do you know? Okay, you're driving down the street today. Okay, just imagine you're driving down the street. Somebody comes on the side of you, full, cuts you off. Cuts you off, almost hits you, cuts you off. Immediately, your brain's going to create what? A story. And that story is probably going to be like what? Freaking rude a-hole. Right? Or something like that. Or maybe something close to that. That's a story. Now, is that story a good story or a bad story in relation to how you actually want to feel? Good story or bad story? Good story or bad story in relation to your goals. And your goal probably is, I want to feel good. When you create that story, does it make you feel good or does it make you feel bad? Does it help you reach your goal of feeling good, calm, peaceful, tranquility? Bad. Okay. Now you get up on the side of the car and you see the mama is holding a kid and the kid is like choking on something. And you see that she's clearly trying to make it somewhere to get some help in this kid. And now the story changes, doesn't it? Doesn't the story change? How the hell could you how could you change your story that fast? From a story of something that was bad and you couldn't understand to something that was good and now it makes sense and you understand. How could you do it that fast? Is it possible that when the person cut you off, you could just create the second story even without seeing the woman? Is that possible? So then why will the majority of people create the first story then and not the second one? Why? Because they are not conscious. They don't know how to think. And I told you they don't know how to think because thinking is what? Free. Your brain has evolved to do something. We get a stimulus and your brain gives a response. Okay? Stimulus response. Stimulus response. Somebody cuts you off, you have a response. Your response usually turns to something that's negative and fear-based. It doesn't have to, though, because there's a gap in the middle, and that gap is your superpower. And that gap is stimulus, your ability to think about stimulus and how you actually want the future to look, which is called your results. And you have a choice. I will write that down. Choice time. Choice time. So later on today, if I can get to it, can't believe we're already at 6:30, but I'm going to tell you to do something very basic. You know what it's going to be? I'm going to tell you to write down 5 names a day. I'm going to tell you to pick up the phone. I'm going to tell you to call these people. Now I just gave you a stimulus, and the majority of you, just from me saying that, created a story. And that story is going to go to fear-based because you're not conscious. And you're going to give me some type of response. That response either going to be action or inaction. Avoid or lean into it. And you're going to do that because you haven't learned how to control your what? Mindset. Because if you learn how to control your mindset, instead of creating the first story that the woman is an a-hole, you would create the second story. But there's no difference in connecting with people. I'm going to say, pick up the phone and call these people. You're going to create some stories. And the story is either going to be tell me what the stories are going to be. Put them in the chat. What are the stories just like that you're going to create? What are the stories? Tell me. Let me say, call 5 people a day. Tell me what the stories are going to be. Let's go through it. That's why we're on here. I told you, I'm just little Johnny trying to show you that there's no Santa Claus. But the Santa Claus is going to continue to be Santa Claus for you if you allow it to continue to be Santa Claus for you. Look at all these stories. You guys see it in the chat? They don't want to talk to me, especially about this. Oh, I ain't got time, even though I have no freaking kids. I have, what you got to do? When I had one child, I had 24 hours in a day. When I had 2 kids, I had 24 hours in a day. When I had 3 kids, I had 24 hours in a day. Now we have 4 kids, I have 24 hours in a day. I can do it on my own. Why do I need this? They won't want to hear from me. Why am I calling them? I can't do this. You hear all these stories? You see all the stories? You see the stories? So if you can create that story, which is a poverty story. You guys realize this, right? Those are all poverty stories. And I told you, if you think positive, poverty, if you think scarcity, if you think negative, what you put out there, there's a law of reciprocity. If I put my hand out there, then I'm going to get that hand back. And if that's the hand you keep wanting to give to the world, to the universe, what do you think you're going to get back? You're going to get what you're looking for. Let me put it like this. There's something called your reticular activating system, right? It's right up here in your hypothalamus, okay? And this thing, its main job is to prove what you already believe. Okay, so that's why the people that watch CNN, this reticular activating system is going to keep proving what they already believe is true. The people that watch Fox, this reticular activating system is going to keep proving what they already believe is true. Okay. Now, if you go out today and you're thinking about, you've been thinking about buying a car and you want to get that new red BMW, you've been thinking about it. Okay, it's been in here. When I was deciding to buy my Tesla, I was thinking about it. And when you go out today, what do you think you're going to see on the highway over and over and over again? You can see that red BMW, aren't you? You'll be like, damn, there it goes again. It must be a sign from God. It must be a sign from God. I cannot believe God knows I want a red BMW. This confirmed it for me. God wants me to do it. God wants me to buy it. Have you guys done that though? You've done this, right? I'm not lying. I'm not making stuff up. You've done this, haven't you? Haven't you? You may have wanted to do something really good, maybe like adopt a child. And you've been thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it. And everywhere you turn now, it's you see the commercials, you met somebody at the store that just adopted a child, and it's all over the place. It's like, man, this is wild. I must really, I must be called to adopt a child. Haven't you've seen this, right? It's because you got this thing right here in your brain that is going to keep giving you evidence that what you believe is true, even if it's not true. Listen, when I thought my wife was using me and she was no good, and the only reason why she wanted to be with me is so that she could sit back and relax and hang out. That was my belief system. What do you think I saw every single day when I came home? And this thing just kept giving me evidence. Damn, dishes aren't done. Man, house is dirty. Man, she's not making enough money. Man, it just kept feeding me evidence, right? It just kept every time. Even though all this other evidence was there to debunk what I already believed was true, I couldn't see it. Why? Because this thing right here. So if you believe that these things are true, that you just put in a chat about picking up the phone and what these people are going to think and what they're going to say and all the things, and this thing's going to keep giving you evidence, how many people you think you're going to talk to? You're probably going to think that your content needs to be extra beautiful or something. So if you can create negative stories, then what's possible? In that same scenario is to create what? Beautiful stories. That's the secret. That's what I started learning to do. So instead of saying, I'm not going to contact this person, I'm not going to pick up the phone and call this person because they're going to feel like I'm whatever the heck you guys put in the chat. I started learning to say, whoa, no way. I'm debunking that. Because Santa's not true. What's more likely to be happening is they probably know some people, or they may have even prayed for somebody like me last night. They may have been curled up in a ball, waiting for a sign, waiting for a story, waiting for hope, waiting for my connection. Now, is that a crappy poverty below the line story, or is that an inspiring above the line story? And which one of those stories is going to help me get closer to my goals? Which one? I can say, Amanda, freaking using me, no good, just pulling on my coattails. Doesn't show up for me the way that I want to. Or in that same moment, I could say, wow, God uniquely created this woman to be here, especially for me. Which story is going to serve me well? And based off of the one that I believe is true, what sort of evidence do you think I'm going to get over and over and over and over and over again? And I can label this evidence. I can say that you know, I could say all the things that this was predestined. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. What matters is what are you going to do for you? What stories are you going to create for yourself? Because I told you what you think about the most is going to what? Show up in your life. Because thoughts are going to lead to emotions. Emotions are going to lead to actions, and inaction is a form of action, and action is going to lead to results. Crappy results are great results. So if you don't have the results that you want, it's probably because your thinking is crappy. The Cookie Thief, was that good? Was that good? So as a human being, you have the ability of choice. You can actually choose how you want to think. Now, if you were a coyote, you cannot do that. If you were a goose, you cannot do that. When wintertime hits, the geese fly where? South. What if they don't want to go south? What if there was, I don't know, a big hurricane or something? Could they just say, well, I don't think I want to go? That seems like a bad decision. Could they do that? Nope. Guess who can, though? Guess who can? And if you were a spiritual based person, you probably say, well, this is why God created man to preside over the beasts and animals. Why? Because they have the ability for consciousness to think. They don't have to go into a direction that's going to lead them into crappiness. They don't have to. Now they could choose to, which most people do, but they don't have to. They can decide to be a human or a coyote. It's up to you. You have choice, so I could have kept thinking the way that I was thinking. I could have kept doing that. But I showed you guys yesterday how fast. You guys, holy cow. I was 31, I was broke. 31 and broke. 31 and broke. 6.5 years later, I was a millionaire. Every year from that, we've extended at least another million. How is that possible? There's probably 3 different presidents in that time period. Many different systems. Many different economic things. Many different people. So what changed? What changed? What changed? How can people go 60 years? 60 years. 60 years? A lifetime? A lifetime. A lifetime? Think about it. How could you go a lifetime and not accomplish what can be done in 6 years? Do this for me. Do this for me. All right. You guys seeing it? So what kind of thoughts are you going to choose to have today? Because it is a choice. Are you going to think thoughts that's actually going to get you to where you want to be? Or that's going to keep you in the same position or even worse? And I told you, because these thoughts are free, because they're free, people are going to neglect them. It's not going to be it. But if you had to pay $5,000 for each thought, would you create positive stories or would you create negative stories? Would you create positive? Tell me, if you had to pay $5,000 for each thought that you had, would they be positive or would they be negative? But I told you what people do with free. They squander it, they neglect it, and they don't value it. All right, let's get into a little bit of review. So, whose thoughts have you been thinking? And whose thoughts are you going to start thinking? Are you going to think thoughts that's going to get you to where you want to be, what you wrote down? Are you? Because it's time for action now. It's time for action. It's time to do the work. Time to look this thing in the face and start practicing. Do not run away from anything. That's what they do. That's not what you do. Not running from nothing. Right? Okay, let's go through some review. October Madness. Is this good for you guys? You guys feel like you got your money's worth? What you guys pay? Couple thousand? Getting your money's worth? Hope so. Hope so. Okay, so here's your business in a nutshell. Is to do what? Talk to people. When it all comes down to it, your business is to share with more people, not to hide behind things, but to actually share because you care. Share. That's the end. We could wrap it up and go home. That's your business. It's to share with more people. That is your business model. Eat the food and do what? Talk to people. Write it down. Eat the food. Talk to people. Write it down. Eat the food. Talk to people. Write it down. Eat the food. Talk to people. Write it down. Eat the food. Talk to people. Now, if you just put up a picture, is that talking to people? Is that talking to people? No, you're trying to put up the picture so that you can talk to people. But at the end of the day, we need to what? Talk to people. Eat the food. So today, eat the food, talk to people. Tomorrow, eat the food, talk to people. Day after that, eat the food, talk to people. Now, what if you don't put up any content today, but you still talk to 10 people and you ate the food? Was it a successful day? Yes. Why? Because you ate the food and you freaking talked to people. That's your business model. Your business model. I don't know about doctors' business models. I don't know about influencers' business models. I don't know about attorneys' business models. I don't know about plumbers' business models. I know this business model, and your business model is to eat the food and to talk to people. So let's get into a little bit of review. So we talked about, you guys have some things that you want to create in your lives, right? We call those dreams. You can call them whatever you want. I call them dreams. We've identified that your thoughts is a choice, right? Haven't we identified that that's actually a choice? The way you choose to think is a choice. Thinking is what? A choice. So you can think that the woman is an a-hole and rude by cutting you off, or you could think, holy cow, she probably has a sick kid and really needs to get to the hospital. Whichever one you want to think is your prerogative, which means it's your choice. You could think somebody is going to think I'm bugging them when I go and contact them, or you could think, man, they probably prayed for me last night. That is your prerogative, and it is a choice. Now, those thoughts are going to lead to an emotion. You're either going to feel good or you're going to feel bad. You're going to feel inspired or you're going to feel scared. These are emotions, right? You're going to feel elated or you're going to feel anxiety. And that all comes from your choice of thinking Santa Claus is real or the dude's not real. That's your choice. Who controls your thoughts? Now, the problem is 1 million other people have been controlling your thinking. And that's why you have thoughts that are below the line that lead to poor actions. That's why you have thoughts that lead to fear. That's why you have thoughts that lead to poverty. That's why you have thoughts that lead to poor emotions. And when you have poor emotions, you're going to have what? Poor actions. And inaction is a form of action. And if you don't do the work or you do crappy work, you're going to have what? No results, or what? Crappy results, meaning you're never going to hit executive director, which I'm telling you, if you actually get your mind right, it's going to take what? 30 to about 45 days. And I told you, if you get it really right, it's going to take about 10 days. Right? Didn't I tell you guys this? Isn't this what I said? Isn't this what I said? So thoughts lead to emotions, but your thought is a choice. You don't have to think crappy thoughts, but you can if you want to, and especially if you're unconscious. But you can choose. I can choose to see my wife as someone who's using me and brings no value, or I could choose to see her as the absolute woman that God has sent for me. That is my choice. And that choice, the way that I think, is going to give me emotion. My emotions are either I feel really good about this person, or I'm really upset with her. And that's going to lead to an action. I'm going to go hug her and kiss her, or I'm going to yell at her, treat her like crap. And those actions are going to lead to results. And what are the results going to be in that scenario? It's no different from your business. Okay, if you keep thinking the same thoughts forever, what sort of results do you think it's going to keep producing in your life? How can a guy, me, who grew up on welfare, father in and out of prison, single mama, how is that possible to go from all of that to where I sit right now? How? This formula. Did I need to change anything else? Did I need to try to do all the? No. I told you, everything that you need is already where? Within. So some mental tools. Is this thought serving me? So I'm going to tell you to pick up the phone and call 5 people. you're going to create some stories, aren't you? Aren't you going to create some stories immediately? And this is where consciousness comes in. Dr. A calls it stop, challenge, choose. You're going to stop that thought. You're going to challenge it. You're going to say, is that thought serving me? Is it serving me to do what? Is it getting me closer to my goals? Is it going to keep me right where I'm at? Or is it even going to get me further away? And if it's going to keep you where you're at or push you further away, then you need to change it. Why? Because you have the ability to change that thought. And you need to change that thought into a serving thought. This person probably prayed for me last night. We got to start to learn to see the good in every situation, even when the person cuts you off on the freeway. What you see as bad, you can also see as good. What you see as good, you can also see as bad. And we utilize what if I did just contact this person? What if? And just let your mind go into a state of curiosity. What if? What if I made the investment to go to that training? What if I actually got up earlier, did the things I needed to do so I could be on the Zoom with my camera on? What if? I wonder what would happen. I wonder how that would change things for me. I wonder what that would mean for the future. I wonder what that would mean for the people's lives. I wonder what that would mean for our bank account. I wonder what that would mean for legacy. I wonder what that would mean for my kids. I wonder what that would mean for my team. I wonder what that would mean for me. Oh man, that's cool. That feels good. I think I want to do that. I think I want to do that. Whose thoughts are you thinking? See the little face I put on there? I don't want to sell. I don't want to be a salesperson. They're going to feel like I'm bothering them. It's too expensive. I can't afford it. My friends will think, my friends will say, if I post on Facebook, I don't have time. I'm not at my goal weight. I'm a shy person. I'm an introvert. Wow. Wow. If you paid $5,000 for each of those, whoo, holy moly. That's what you would be thinking? That's what you would choose to think? I'm just going to tell you a secret. You're never going to reach these goals. It's just, you might as well just wrap it up, bro. It ain't gonna happen. This is not gonna happen. You think if that's what you put out to the world's gonna give you back a whole bunch of blessings? With each and every single one of these thoughts, you block your blessings. There's a law of reciprocity. That in what you put out is what you're gonna get back. And you can't beat the law. The only way we can beat the law of gravity is to design something that goes against the law of gravity. But for most of us, if we go to the top of the building and we jump off, what's going to happen? And how often do you think that's going to happen? So if you put these thoughts out into the world, you're following the law. You're putting out something, which means you're going to get back something. And if you keep putting these out, what do you think you're going to keep getting back? Just like if you walk to the top of a building, you jump off, what do you think is going to happen every time? The law of reciprocity is the exact same as the law of gravity, and it's going to work over and over and over and over again. So what do you want? What areas of your life would you like to see improve? Right now in this moment, what do you wish you had that you don't have? What do you wish you could do that you can't do? And in order to achieve those goals, what do you need? What do you need? Do you need your husband to join you in this business? Do you need your wife to join you in this business? Answer is no, you do not. Do you need the economy to change? Answer is no, you do not. Do you need a new sitting president? Answer is no, you do not. Do you need for everything to be in your favor today? Answer is no, you do not. Do you need more time? Nope, you don't. Do you need to change you? Yep. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. That's where the answer is. Okay, reaching goal training review. Write them out as if they already happened. Did you guys do that? You guys do that yesterday? Doesn't it feel good to already have them done? They've already been granted to you. I do have to tell you a little secret though about goals. Man, I didn't tell you. I'm gonna stop screen share real fast because I promise to be honest with you guys. Here's the thing about goals, okay? Anytime you set a goal that's bigger, and I almost don't want to tell you the truth because I don't want you to get scared. But anytime you set a goal that's bigger than what you're doing right now, the truth is you can have it. That's the good news. Okay, so write it down. I can have anything that I desire to have. That's the truth. Okay, Carol, I'm about to tell you the next truth. But I don't want it to scare you guys. Remember, if it scares you, it's because of the way you're choosing to look at it. Okay? Okay, here's the truth. Almost immediately after you set that goal, you're going to see a lot of problems, challenges. And I don't want that to scare you, but it is the truth. It's going to be the truth for your coaches, and it's definitely going to be the truth for your clients. It's going to be the truth for your kids. It's going to be the truth. It's just the truth. Because you have to pay. There's a price. Remember, I told you, if it was free, we wouldn't honor it, would we? We would what? Neglect it. So you're going to have to prove that you're willing to pay the what? The price. So sometimes that price is going to be your 5-year-old's going to say, Mama, why are you on the phone so much? Sometimes it's going to be the spouse that kind of is getting on you a little bit. Sometimes it's going to be an in-law that says, why are you doing that thing? Sometimes it's going to be, man, you just came back from a training and you're on the airplane and you got a little sinus infection. And as you're descending, your eardrum is going to, your tympanic membrane is going to explode. Sometimes your house is going to totally be flooded. Sometimes your best friend is going to say, I don't really want to be friends anymore. Sometimes you're going to give and you're going to give and you're going to give and you're going to give for years. And then they're going to forget about it. But a price is going to be paid one way or the other. So I want to be honest with you, but I got to tell you the whole truth. And I told you what the difference is between people. And it's one little U word. And that word is what? Until. So I'm going to keep doing it until, and that is a mindset, a mentality, a spirit. That is definitely a spirit. And the ones that don't have that spirit are basically going to stay in the same place forever. So I'm going to tell you the truth, but I'm going to tell you the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. So help me God. Okay. So I gotta tell you, those are the goals. So every time I set a crazy goal, what do you think is showing up in my life? What do you think is showing up? Craziness. And either I'm going to look at it and back down and go the other way, which is a spirit that said something about me, or I'm going to say, okay, if that's how it's going to be, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. So you want to think about these goals all day long, especially first thing in the morning and before bed. Very, very, very important. You don't need to know how it works or why it works. Just believe me that it works. That's that invisibleness stuff that I was telling you about. Okay. You want to write these goals out. I tried to show you some goals that I've written out from years ago that's already been manifested. You want to put them in a place where you can see them. I like little cards. What just happened here? That was super interesting. I feel like, did Don Purnell take over my Google Slides? That was crazy. Did you guys see that? I feel like Don, because you know Don cannot share a slide to save her life. I go every week. You think at some point in time we would learn how to share slide deck? It's just a little button. Here, I'm gonna show you. You guys see, there's a tiny, tiny button that is here. Right up here in this corner. Okay, it's really easy. And you just press it, it says share. And then what magic happens? And then the deck is, did you share it? Oh my gosh. So write them out, right? Have them somewhere where you can see them. And find accountability. And I told you the blessing of your business is you have built-in accountability partners called mentors. Okay. So you are going to produce in life that in which you what? You're going to produce in life that in which you what? You're going to produce in your business that in which you think about the most. Okay. All right. So let's move into some of the things that we talked about yesterday. So I said we're going to need some lines on paper, right? Number out a piece of paper 1 through 18, 1 through 20. And these are going to represent the people, the lives that you're going to impact. Now, some of you guys are already using this map thing, right? This map works the same way. I don't actually care what you use. I just care that you actually do it. Because if you do it, it's going to now generate some other laws. And that law is that if you focus on these lines, if you're thinking about these lines, then it's going to happen. But if you're not focused on it, you're not thinking about it, you're not doing the work, then it's not going to happen. It's that simple. So we need to have these lines out. We need to be thinking about them. We need to look at these lines daily, and we need to say, well, who can I serve today? Who can I serve today? Whose life is going to be impacted by me today? And then we're going to do that whole ask thing. Is please help me see who needs me. Now, I don't care who you ask. You ask whoever you want to ask, but do that. I don't care who you ask. Ask your mom. Ask your pa. Ask your friend. Ask God. I don't care. But ask somebody and ask a lot. Okay, so we have lines on paper. You guys got that? Do you guys have lines on paper already? Drop a one in the chat if you've already have lines on paper or using the map. So if we don't have it, no big deal. That's why we're doing review, because let's get it done today. Is that cool? Okay. So then we talked about some secrets, right? Some secrets, some moral laws. So our secrets are, well, ask, seek, serve, give, and live an until type life, until spirit. Because we believe if you ask, it's going to be given to you. If you seek, then you're going to find it. If you are seeking for these people, if you're seeking, if you're looking, if you are looking, then you're going to find these people. There's too many of these people out there not to find them. You could throw a rock and hit 50 of them. There's too many, way too many. Okay. And then we want to give. And we talked yesterday about the things that we want to give. Most of it's your story. You want to give them hope, give them your energy, give them your passion, give them your vision, give them your ability to inspire. You want to give them joy, you want to give them compliments, but you're looking to serve. And then the other part of the truth was, if you ask once, you're probably not going to get it. If you just look once, if you just give once, it probably is not going to happen. What you're going to need to do is you're going to need to keep asking until it what? Happens. Until it happens. I am going to find a client today, and I'm not going to stop. What? Until it happens. I am going to find a location to do a healthy happy hour today, and I'm not going to go to bed. What? Until it happens. I am going to sponsor a coach today. And I'm not going to sleep. What? Until. It's a spirit, it's a mindset, it's a mentality, and it's what separates not just coaches, but human beings. This is the same mindset that your ancestors had. I'm going to go from one end of the country all the way to the other end of the country, or two completely different countries, on foot, horse and buggy, through snow, over mountains, and I'm not stopping. What? Until I get there. Now, in this day and age, I got to tell you, we're losing this a lot quickly. We just want stuff handed to us a lot more than 100 years ago, definitely a lot more than 200 years ago. Okay, two basics to this business. You have someone that's interested, or you don't. That's it. And if you have someone that's interested, we set up a health assessment so that we can talk to them. And if we don't have anyone interested, then we need to get people interested. And how do we get people interested? We get the word out and we share with them. We get the word out and we share with them. Remember that whole sharing thing, that giving thing? You're going to start to give them things. And because you're giving things, what do you think is going to be given back to you? What do you think? We've talked about this, right? So the way that we do it, which by the way is the way every company does it, is we have lists. Because if I don't have anyone who's interested, then I need to get the word out to people so that I can create some interest. So the way that I do it is I utilize lists. We make a list of all of these people that we know. Right? We make a list of all of these people that we know. And day by day, we pick off about 5 to 10 of them, and we what with them? It's an S word. Share with them. Share with them. Now, my promise to you is, even if your content is terrible, then you are going to start to attract and support a lot of clients and a lot of coaches. Okay. So if you don't have a list, then create a list. But I'm not just trying to show you, I'm trying to prove to you. Okay. So we have a big list of names, right? How many people do you guys think that you know? Put in the chat. How many people? Roughly. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Let me stop share real fast so I can see what you're putting in the chat. How many? How many people do you think's in your phone contact list right now? What about on social media? How many people, how many friends will do this? Because some of them, they're not like super homies, but we know or know of these people or know of these people. How many people are in your network? So Marnie with the 200, get with Shara and me and let me work with you on how to expand that. But oftentimes, if we just go to our social media friends list, just write all those people down. And that's probably already going to be 300, 400, 500 people. Looking your phone. That's going to be, I don't have to be super buddy with these people. So we have people, right? So write their names down. Right, Tammy? You following me? Okay. Now, if I say write these people's names down and you create a story, and that story prevents you from actually writing these names down, then what just happened that fast? What just happened? What story are you going to create about this list and about these names? Choice time. What story are you going to create? Decide, choose to create about this list and these names. What story? Good story or bad story? It's your choice. And this choice is actually going to get you closer to where you actually want to be, or it's going to keep you the same or push you away. Which one do you want to choose to do? Choice time. What choice are you going to make? But that is the simplicities of this business. We have a list. If I don't have if I don't have anyone that's interested, I don't have any health assessments that are set up, then I need to get the word out to these people on this list because it is going to create some interest. And someone is going to say, I got some people who might be interested, or I'm actually interested. And then boom, we set up a what? Health assessment. Health assessment. So I'll explain. So part of the homework will be to get the word out. Okay, we have a few minutes. Any questions with all that? Was that helpful? Was that helpful? If you saw my list too, you'll see the I guess journey of names, because a lot of those names would just be on my contact list. And then they would move to um like my heart list. And then they would move to my list of where they're actually clients or coaches. And a handful of them are on right now. Devon's on that list, Sherilyn's on that list. See how it works? It all originates where? Where does it originate? Does it originate out there? Does it originate out there? Do I need anything out there to change? Where does it originate? What are you going to choose to do? Choice time. What are you going to choose to do? Because this is where the rubber meets the road. Remember, a lot of people say a lot of things. A lot of people will quote you things. A lot of people will tell you all the books that they read. A lot of people will tell you all the things that sound good, but what are the results? I told you, you can always see what a person believes. Right? How many of your clients tell you they know everything about being healthy? Oh, Jamil, I know. I've read all of the nutrition books in the world. How many do that? How many people will quote all of the quotes? Right? So thoughts lead to emotions. Emotions lead to actions. Good actions, bad actions. Massive action, no action. And those actions are going to lead to what? Results. What results do you want in your life? What results do you want in your life? What results do you want in your business? That's a question. And who is going to control this? You're going to let little Sally from the 5th grade? Or are you actually going to control this? You're going to let little Sally choose for you? You're going to let little Timmy choose for you? Are you, as an adult, going to choose for you? Who's going to choose for you? Here's the simplicities of this business. 5 to 10 people a day. Share with them about what has happened to you on this plan. And then go do all the other things. Okay, then become an expert at all the other things. Then become an expert at stories, then become an expert at freaking all the things. But not until you become an expert at eating the food and talking to people. Okay, become an expert at all the other things, but after you eat the food today and you freaking talk to 5 to 10 people about what you're excited about with this program. Deal? Deal? All right. See you tomorrow.